Hello to all my Pisces. Butch Tarot here. I am going to do your 1 week read. It is a general read, so it may not resonate with everyone. It is for your sun, moon, rising, and your Venus. For all you cross watchers, roles can be reversed. Always feel free to comment down below. If you're new, welcome. We're all about the love here, and everybody is absolutely welcome. We have a great community here. I can't say enough good things about it. I could, but this be a long ass video. If you like the content, stay, join us, subscribe. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you have something to say, drop in the comments down below. To everyone else coming back, good to see you again. I want to point out first, because I want to say this one thing. I got this new deck today. It's a Game of Thrones deck from Wendy. Appreciate you. She mailed it to me. I don't even know. It ended up, because the post office is on strike here, it ended up going to the wrong address, but the person, my neighbor, was nice enough to bring it to me. I just got it today, Wendy. Thank you. I really appreciate it. But she's a Pisces, so I thought I'd mention it in the Pisces video. I will use it, Wendy. I just got to get used to it. I just got it, so I like to familiarize myself with it. But anyway, with all that being said, let's get it. Universe, what message do we have for Pisces? All right, Pisces. Okay. So first and foremost, I feel like the current energy right now, I'm feeling a little defeated, Pisces. I feel like you're feeling a little defeated. I feel like something recently fell apart. We have the ten of Wands, which is that, almost like feeling like stabbed in the back, feeling betrayed. And I feel like with the Tower card, it whatever that was, it fell apart. There's just a lot of chaotic energy right now. But what I do is what I do see is I feel like the smoke is about to clear. The sun is coming out. I see a lot of happiness moving towards you, and I feel like this new energy coming in. Now with this new energy, first and foremost, this person is not at all like anyone you've ever met before. They're not like anyone you met before. We have the Six of Cups in reverse. And I feel like the moment you meet this person with that High Priestess, there's something different about them. It just hits different. With this person, I feel like very quickly feeling very comfortable, very safe with this person. We have the Ten of Cups and the Emperor. The Emperor is that masculine energy of it feels protective. It feels like this person has your best interest at heart, and it just feels like this safe place with that Ten of Cups, that feeling of being home. That feeling when you're home. That's what I mean by that feeling of home. When you're in a place that just feels like home, it feels comfortable, it feels loving, it feels nurturing. That's what I mean when I say that feeling of home. That's what I feel when I see the Ten of Cups. And like I said, not only that, but you're home with this person. It's like sitting by a nice warm fire on a very cold, snowy night. It's just that very comfortable very quickly. From the very beginning, like I said, this just hits different. And then there's a reason for that. I mean, I'm feeling a lot of soulmate energy with this. We have new love connection between the two of you with the Ace of Cups and the Two of Cups. It just feels right. You know, and like I said, trust your intuition. But it keeps getting better. You know, when you think you couldn't be any happier, you find out how wrong you really are. Because I feel like, I mean, with that Lover's card, it's a deep connection on both sides. This is not just you feeling a certain sort of way about this person. It's this person feeling the same damn way about you. We talked about the Emperor. We also have the Empress. You know, there's a new seed being planted here. This person is drawn to you. You know, there's a reason why this feels right. You know, I mean, when these two cards come in a read together, it signifies a deeper connection. It's a masculine and the feminine, the nurturer and the protector. I feel like there's big things coming for the both of you, like together. You know, and with the Empress, we see this woman and she's pregnant. You know, for some of you, that is going to be something that I see coming. You know, I feel like being with this person, there's this establishment of trust. There's just this nurturing energy that this person puts out. They just, like I said, they make you feel safe. They make you feel heard. I feel like there's like this great communication between the two of you. And like I said, this is definitely a soulmate, possibly even a twin flame connection. I mean, I feel like you were both in from the jump. You know, that leap of faith is the beginning of this brand new journey. And it starts to put in perspective what happened in the past. Like I said, that falling apart, that being betrayed, that tower moment, whatever you were going through before, it starts to put that in a little bit more perspective of that had to end for this to begin. You know, I know a lot of people see a lot of negativity in the Tower card, but what I see is when the Tower shows itself, sometimes things have to fall apart so we can begin to rebuild something new. You know, I always think of it as if you're looking at a house and it's half burnt down. I used to work construction, and we actually did this in one of those houses, and it always reminds me of this house. That we had to plow the house. We had to, like, you know, just demolish it because there was no fixing it. But we built something, and it ended up being a much nicer house than the house that was there. Fortunate enough for the family that had the fire, they had a good insurance, so they ended up getting a nicer house in the end. But like I said, it always reminds me of that. It's like we have to get rid of what's there because it doesn't work for something, and it leaves room for something that does. Like I said, with this person, very open and honest communication. Like I said, we said the Eight of Wands. We also have the Queen of Swords. This person, I don't feel like this person is hiding anything from you. I don't feel like this person hides things from you. Not that they're not hiding anything from you. I don't feel like they're going to hide anything from you. You know, I just feel like this very open and direct communication between the two of you, which builds this strong connection, and it's built on trust. You know, I see the establishment of trust with the Knight of Pentacles. I mean, this keeps signifying a deep connection. I keep getting more and more clues to that. You know, we have the Queen of Cups, the very loving and nurturing, meeting the King of Cups. It's someone emotionally mature, someone looking for something real. This person isn't just going to give you part of them. I feel like they're going to give you all of them. And that's what sets this person apart. Like I said, I feel like this person completely hits different than what you're used to. I don't feel like they're anything like anyone you've ever met before. Now, when I talk about that, I also want to point out, because the Eight of Swords comes up. So with the Eight of Swords, I feel like this person, their walls come down around you. You know, it's not a matter of you just feeling safe with this person. They're feeling safe with you. I feel like you're both seeing things differently. I don't feel like this person's ever been really truly open with someone, and I just see them being open with you, and it just comes naturally. It just flows. They just feel safe with you. You know, we all have different ideas of what safe really is. You know, some people think of it as someone protecting us physically, and others look at it as protecting us mentally. And I feel like you bring that to each other. You know, I see a lot of strength. You know, I feel like you guys giving to each other, bringing out the strengths in each other, and being stronger for it. That's why I feel like this connection, I mean, with that Two of Cups, I feel like this is a lifelong connection. I see a lot of happiness. I'm seeing so many things that are in a positive direction. I mean, I feel like this person not only being able to open up about their feelings, but also opening up about their hopes and their dreams, sharing that with you because they want to, you know, live that out with you. You know, they want you to be a part of it. They don't just want you to listen to it. They want you to be a part of it. And again, more reasons why this person just hits different. And it's I'm not getting any malicious energy. Like I said, I mean, I feel like it is very direct, very open. You know, the Queen of Swords, she doesn't lie. But there's just something that you do differently. So you're not like anyone they ever met either. And that's why this connection, I just see two people unapologetically in love. Not giving apologies because there's no need for apology. I just feel like this is the type of love, like when you're around other people that, you know, they're just, you know, there's a bit of jealousy, but there's also a bit of like wanting what you have. You know, let's give them something to talk about. Like I said, you're heard with this person and you're seen with this person. And a lot of times we don't realize how desperately we want both those things. Sometimes we're heard by someone, but we're not seen. At least seen the way we want to be seen. And sometimes we're seen by someone, but we're not heard. You know, that's why this hits differently. This is why this person is not like anyone you've ever met before. And you're certainly not like anyone they've ever met before. It's the beginning of a new journey, like I said, with the Fool card. The Fool is the beginning of the tarot. It symbolizes the beginning of a new journey. You know, it's taking that leap of faith. Because like I said, I do feel like this is a new energy. I don't feel like you're going to be disappointed at all. Actually, quite the opposite. I feel like you're going to be pleasantly surprised. You know, but like I said, sometimes things have to fall apart for something new to grow. With this person, I mean, we have Gemini, we have Aquarius, we have some Libra, we have Aries, some Sagittarius, Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. I'm getting some Virgo as well. I like that. I really do. I love Pisces. I really do. I love you all. You know I do. You know, that's the thing with Pisces, as I mentioned this before. I did a video, The Truth About Pisces. Just a little insight for people that, you know, I'm doing a kind of a series with it. I've done a few already. I think I've done 5 or 6 different signs now. One of the things about Pisces is they're the love warriors. That's what I look at them as, because no matter how much you knock a Pisces down, they'll keep getting back up. You know, you can't keep a Pisces down. And that's the thing. They don't give up. You know, they're romantics. And I feel like that's where I really connect with Pisces, because I'm a hopeless romantic. You know, I feel like the person's out there, and sometimes you'll meet people that just aren't that person, and it's okay, because now you know they're not the person. So it's like, next. And like I said, sometimes we're in a situation where that has to end in order for something new to begin. Like, it's like reading a book and staying in the same chapter. You're not going to get anywhere. You got to move to the next chapter. But that chapter has to end. You have to get to the end of that chapter to begin the new one. And I always say this as in, I look at it as like a book. The relationship's like a book or like a movie. If you think about it that way, and you put that in your mindset, in the fact that there's going to be people, it's your movie, it's your book, it's your life story, it's your, there's going to be people that aren't going to be main characters come into a scene. They have a role to play. Whether they're the villain or whether they're just there to get you through to next stage. Or, there's so many different characters in a movie. Like, if you think about your favorite movie, how many characters are in that movie? They're not all going to be main characters. They have a role to play, and that's it. Until you meet the other star. And it's not always going to be easy to determine, spot who's who. It's not always going to be that way. When you know, you know. And like I said, sometimes we get caught up, rewatching the same part when we should have just moved on. But when you find that one, you don't think about the other ones anymore. Except for maybe you might think back and say, I don't know how I stayed with that person that long, or I don't know how I gave that person so much of my energy when this person was here waiting for me the whole time. I feel like we're truly waiting for each other. Date while we wait. I always say this, I feel like we're always heading toward that right one. And sometimes there's some detours. Like, you're starting here and they're starting here, and then you're heading toward each other. And sometimes there could be a detour, and then but you always come back. Unless you get stuck in that detour. I mean, that's the thing. Like, sometimes we get into karmic relationships and relationships like that, and it's relationships that weren't meant to be our relationship. It wasn't meant to be our everything. And sometimes we hold on too tightly to the things that we don't need. It's like, the way I look at it is, sometimes it's like hugging an anchor. Somebody throws an anchor off the boat and you grab a hold of it and hug it, you're gonna end up drowning eventually. It's only gonna bring you down. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Be good. Take care. Stay safe.